Before we get into this video real quick, fam, I want y'all to hear this and read along with me. This is the new moon definition, cycle, and facts lessons. This comes from study.com. What is the new moon? Simple explanation. The new moon happens when the moon is in between the earth and the sun on its orbital path. The new moon is described as invisible because the part of the moon that is illuminated by the sun is not facing the earth. Only the dark side of the moon is visible. First of all, how do they even get this information to deliver it to the world? What studies do they have that makes this a fact? Is there some type of ancient hieroglyphic somewhere in the ocean or in the cave that has a drawing of the dark moon? And if so, how did the ancient ancestors draw this dark moon if it's invisible? I have to call this a lie. So guys, let's think about it. What we just read is completely against the Bible. It's completely against Scripture. Let's keep in mind the Most High created two great lights, one to rule the day, the other to rule the night. Key word, rule. There is no way that a dark moon is going to rule the night, or even a first light of the moon that you got to go outside and try to find is ruling the night. Just think about that. Let's get it. See, in order for them demons to get you to listen to their indoctrination, they got to make the truth a lie first. They got to make you fear the truth. So, for example, if the full moon is the new moon, they have to put out fables and tales and make it look like the full moon is evil. It is bad. That you may even turn into a werewolf or something bad or gloomy or unrighteous is going to happen on this full moon, and that the wolves and the dogs howl at this moon. We could see what's going on with our own eyes, fam. So let's get into it.
The new moon. When is it really? With all of the many phases of the moon, which phase is the correct new moon phase? Is it the full moon? Or is it the first sight of the moon, the first light? Perhaps it's the dark moon. From all of the different phases, which phase is the correct phase of the new moon? Which phase is the phase that we should practice as the new moon? But before we even answer that, let's look at the sun. Let's examine the shape of the sun, the light, the heat. The sun has a form. We can all see it with our eyes. We could tell what that form is. The stars also has a particular form. As we see it with our eyes, we could tell the shape. The moon also has a shape that we can all tell from our eyes. But unlike the stars and the sun, the moon has phases. Which phase is the correct phase that we should practice as the new moon? The moon is somewhat like a clock, as it changes in its phases. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, taking approximately 28 days to complete a full cycle. Just as a clock changing every second, every minute, every hour, calculating the days, the weeks, the month. And as you can see with the clock, it takes 24 hours to complete a cycle. Let's go back to the sun. In fact, let's read some scriptures pertaining to it.
Ecclesiasticus 43 and verse 1. The pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven, with the glorious show. The sun when it appeareth, declaring at his rising, a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. At noon it parcheth the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof? A man blowing a furnace is in works of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more, breathing out fiery vapors, and sending forth bright beams. It dimmeth the eyes. Great is the Lord that made it, and at his commandment it runneth hastily.
So we could actually read this and physically see it, physically feel it, just as we read it. Let's read more.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 43 verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season, for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. For the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
All right, hold up now. Because as we could see, the moon is decreasing from its full phase, the full moon phase. Let's read some more.
The moon is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
We can now see that it increases wonderfully in her changing. Wow, we could actually see this. Let's keep it moving.
The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of the Lord. At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order and never faint in their watches.
Whoa. So as we can see, the moon, the sun, the stars, it has an order and it follows the commandments of the Most High. It follows that order. We see the sun, it shows his light. It's hot, it's round, it dimmens the eye. We see the moon and it's full, that decreases, and as it changes, it increases back, and it's also round. And then we see the stars that also shines with light and it's round. And none of them shall faint, following the order, the commandments of the Most High. Alright fam, at this point we're gonna have to use some discernment. We're gonna have to use the old brain that the Most High created us with. And for those who don't know what discernment is, let's read about it.
King James Version Dictionary definition. Discern. 1. To separate by the eyes. 2. To distinguish, to see the difference between 2 or more things. 3. To make the difference. 4. To discover, to see, to distinguish by the eye. And 5, to discover by the intellect, to distinguish, hence to have knowledge of, to judge.
Okay. It seems like we should be able to use discernment by seeing things. So we should be able to discern the difference between the sun, the moon, and the stars. So let's try. We look at the sun, we see that it's round, the moon, round, stars, round. The sun, bright light. The moon, bright light, but has phases. The stars, also bright light. The sun gives off heat. The moon, I can't feel any heat. I don't know about you guys, but you know, it is what it is. The stars, I don't feel no heat either. So, from what I see and what I feel, my discernment says the moon, the sun, and the stars are round. The sun gives off heat, the moon and stars doesn't, and they all give out bright light. Also, the moon is the only one that has phases. So let's get back to understanding. What is the new moon and when is it really?
Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
It's so much we could talk about in those verses there, but let's just stick to the light and the darkness. Because the sun is light, the moon is light, the stars is light, right? I think they light, right? Anyways, the light God called the light day. And the darkness he called the darkness night. There we could see that he made a division of the two. Light is day and darkness is night. I'm sorry, people. You cannot mix the two. We cannot be going around talking about the new day starts at night. Come on, people. We are contradicting the Bible. The light is day and the darkness is night. Then you have evening, which is that in between time of light and darkness, day and night. The Bible says at even or evening. Come on, let's read some more.
The book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. And God said, let there be light in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so.
Okay, I guess I got my answer. The sun and the moon and the stars is light. Come on, fam. Let's continue on.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 16. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
Oh, wait a minute. So, it looks like he made the moon, the stars, and the sun at the same doggone time. Or at least the same day. Let's look at it. Okay, God made two great lights. One that rules the day. and the other that rules the night. And he made the stars too, which is also light. Come on, fam. Come on.
And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good.
We gotta stop using oxymoronic statements like the new day starts at night. Do better. Okay, fam. We really gonna have to use discernment. We gonna have to use our brains. We gonna have to use the scriptures. And we definitely gonna have to see this thing. Moving right along. Now, I have a question. Why is it when we think about the new moon, we think about this image? Or even this image? But not once do we ever really think about this image. We must use discernment. We must use our eyes along with the scriptures and be able to understand the difference. Two great lights. A great light like the sun would have to be a full moon. It couldn't be anything else, because it wouldn't be considered a great light. Come on, fam. I know you're struggling with this doctrine. I know you are. But use your discernment. Look up in the sky and look at the sun, and then look at the moon, and then look at the stars, and then read the scriptures. And when it talks about a great light, two of them, how could you think of anything less than a full moon to compare with the sun? Okay, I'm gonna end it here. It's now up to you to use your discernment and read those scriptures. And when you see that new moon, which I believe is the full moon, then you know it's a new month. And with that, I say peace. Peace.
Yeah, kid, strike a pose, cause you just been exposed.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Real talk.